Isn't this cake fun? Bright pink buttercream frosting, a flirty-looking fondant face, and deliciously sweet meringue wings. Make the decorations for this cake at least one day in advance. For the head, you'll need pink, white, and black fondant. Add a generous pinch of Tylose powder to each colour to dry it out and make it harden faster. Roll the pink fondant out just thick enough to fit in a wooden skewer or a cookie pop, which will give the long neck support. Then cut out the neck and face using a pizza cutter or a sharp knife, or a combination of both. Stick on a white stripe for the beginning of the beak, and then a curved piece of black fondant for the rest of the beak. Just brush them with a bit of water to make them stick. For the eye, roll out a string of black fondant and curve it to make an eyelid. Add an eyelash curling up at the end. I'm shaping the neck with my fingers to make it long and curved, and then leaving it to dry for a day, flipping it over so the other side has a chance to dry out overnight. You can add an eye on the other side at this point if you like. For the wings, we're going to use meringue, whipped into stiff peaks following my meringue recipe. Click the link at the top of the screen for the full tutorial, or click the link in the description below. Divide the meringue mixture into 4 parts, leaving a quarter in your mixing bowl and putting the rest into little balls. Add a few drops of pink and fuchsia gel food colours to the bowls to make different shades of pink. Then fit a piping bag with a leaf tip. Add a few spoonfuls of white meringue. Push it down to the bottom of the bag, and then add your lightest shade of pink on top, pushing that down as well. For my 8-inch cake, I used half of the meringue recipe. If you're not sure how much of each colour to put in the bag, too much is better than not enough, because you can squeeze out any excess as you go. Now add a darker pink, and finally your darkest pink. Okay, now we're ready to pipe the wings. Hold your tip with the 2 sharp points on top of each other, like Pac-Man straws. On a piece of parchment paper, squeeze out the meringue and pull your wrist away, stopping squeezing as you pull. This will make a meringue feather. Make a row of them, which will be the tip of the wing, and then make another one for the other wing. Then pipe another row on top of the first row, and you should notice the colour of the meringue starting to get more pink. If it's still white, squeeze out some meringue until you see some colour coming through, and then pipe on the next row of feathers. Alternate back and forth between the 2 wings, so the feathers on both wings get gradually darker with each row. You want the tips of the wings to curve upwards, but since the wings will be on opposite sides of the cake, each wing's up will be different. So when you pipe the feathers on the base of the wing, flip the parchment over, and that way the feathers on the other wing will angle in the opposite direction. You're going to bake these at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 90 minutes. Check on them, and if they're still sticky, bake them for another 30 minutes. If they're hard, turn the oven off and leave them to cool down slowly inside the oven overnight, so they don't crack with a sudden change in temperature. This is how they look when they come out of the oven the next day. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for new cake decorating tutorials every week. Now build your cake. If you're new to cake decorating, click the link at the top of the screen to check out my tutorial on how to build a cake. I share tips on dividing and leveling cakes, simple syruping to keep them moist, trimming, crumb coating, and final coating. Crumb coat your cake and then apply a final coat of pink frosting. I used my 4-minute buttercream. Click the link at the top of the screen for the recipe and tutorial. Now press the wings gently into the frosting, angling them slightly so the tips of the wings point upwards. Do this as soon as you've frosted your cake, while the frosting is still sticky. If you wait and let your frosting set, use a dab of fresh frosting to secure the wings. Chill your cake on the turntable so the frosting gets hard, and then use a spatula to loosen the frosting from the turntable and lift the cake onto a cake board, using masking tape to stick the cake to the board. Measure the height of the cake starting at the top of the cake board and trim the wooden skewer of your flamingo head so the part sticking out is the same height as the cake. Then push the head into the cake until the base of the skewer hits the cake board. Ta-da! I actually made this cake a 2-tier cake, adding support with the technique in my tutorial How to Stack a Tier Cake. Click the link at the top of the screen to watch that tutorial. Then I placed my pineapple cake on top, adding the head at the end. Such a fun summery cake! The links for how to make meringues, how to build a cake, my 4-minute buttercream frosting, how to stack a cake, and the pineapple cake are in the description below. Thanks for watching! Comment below to tell me what cake you'd like me to make next!